Attention all operators on countdown 1. This is the final go, no go for flight 2 of Starship.
It's here, guys. We're already living the 2050 dream where traveling to space has become an achievable reality. We're witnessing history right now. Elon Musk's SpaceX Starship has become the biggest and most powerful rocket ever built. And what's even more shocking, it's actually taking flight. So, what exactly is Starship? Before we break it down for you guys, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you know how the future's going to look. 2, 1. What exactly is Starship? Now, not everyone follows rocket science news every day, but starting now, maybe we should, because Elon Musk is creating the very future we've witnessed only in fictional movies. So, SpaceX is actually his space company, which is currently working on a giant 2-part rocket called Starship. The dream is to make it 100% reusable, just like an airplane, and make the flights to space more common. You fly this Starship, land it, refuel it, and go again. Sounds pretty simple, right? But in space, it's insanely difficult. Components of Starship. A Starship consists of 2 main parts. Super Heavy Booster, its lower section, also called the muscle of the rocket, has 33 engines that help lift the entire thing off the ground. Then we have the Starship, or the upper stage. This part goes to space, carries satellites, and maybe even people to the moon or Mars. The goal's clear, but don't you think it's crazy ambitious? I mean, think about it. Launching Starship, separating it safely from its booster, reaching orbit, and bringing the Starship back to Earth. And with this latest flight, it showed the space exploration dream is real.
2, 1.
The massive Super Heavy booster comes alive. All 33 Raptor engines fire perfectly. For context, each of these engines is like strapping on the power of a commercial jet times 33. The rocket clears the pad and arcs across the Gulf of Mexico. Viewers are excited about this journey while windows shake and cameras can barely keep up. In the first 5 seconds, the team's watching out for one single thing. Are all the engines working? And the answer is positive. Every single one of them works amazingly, which alone is a big deal. Early flights don't always get that lucky, you know.
Execute. Booster engine cut off.
When the rocket finally climbs, it hits something known as max Q. This is the point where the rocket's air pressure is at its peak. It's also the moment where rockets face insane stress from the atmosphere. At this very point, if something's going to break, it usually does. But not this time. Starship isn't weak. It flies through max Q like a champ. Everything's super smooth. You can even hear the announcers say, "Super Heavy makes its way uphill." All 33 engines are lit. Now comes the coolest moments and the riskiest part, hot staging. Usually, rockets cleanly separate their stages. The bottom part usually drops away and shuts off, while the top part starts its engines. But SpaceX decided to try something completely new. This is called hot staging, which means the upper part of the Starship fires its engines while still attached to the booster. Yeah, it literally blasts its engine through the bottom of the rocket so it can push itself off. While this sounds pretty dangerous, it's efficient at the same time. And when this process goes smoothly, everything works perfectly. Then the focus shifts to the Super Heavy booster, usually the lower half of the rocket. It's done its job pushing Starship to space, but it's definitely nowhere near done flying yet. The booster performs what's called a boost back burn. It basically fires some of its engines again to turn around and head back toward the Gulf of Mexico. And here's where things get crazy. The jaw-dropping 13.53 landing sequence. It means it starts the landing burn using 13 of its engines, then cuts to 5, then 3, slowing down perfectly before splashing down. This test was all about practicing that precise sequence for future landings. What happens in space? Meanwhile, all that chaos is happening below. The Starship is soaring upward. Its 6 engines are firing strong. These help the rocket land smoothly into space. Then you hear that the Starship has officially made its orbit. That's exactly the dream. Launch separately and reach space. For SpaceX, this was a huge moment that proves rocket designs actually work from start to finish. The team cheers, people clap, and the announcers say what everyone's thinking. All major objectives met for the booster. Now all eyes are on the ship. Payload door test. Next, if you're operating in space, there's a very small but impactful test. So, in space, Starship opens its payload door kind of like the trunk of a car. It does this to release the satellites. For this flight, they're not actual satellites, just Starlink simulators, aka the dummy versions. Now, you might be wondering why this is so important, because those doors have to open and close perfectly in space for future missions. If it jams, you could lose $1 million worth of satellites in space. So, the doors open smoothly, the simulators deploy, and the announcers are excited to witness this. They even note that this updated version of Starship can carry 60 terabits per second of Starlink data capacity per launch. This is 20 times what a Falcon 9 rocket can deliver today. So, in short, this Starship is a total beast. The Raptor engine relight. Now, we're going to be talking about another high-risk test, which is relighting engines in space. Imagine you're in zero gravity, far from Earth, and you have to restart big rocket engines without gravity or even proper airflow. That's exactly what SpaceX opted for next. They reignite the Raptor engines, not once or twice, but thrice in a row, and all three work flawlessly. This test matters because for future Moon or Mars missions, Starship will need to restart its engines to come back home or change its course. Here, another box was checked, which was another massive success for this Starship. After circling the Earth, Starship prepares for its re-entry. This is one of the most dangerous phases of any flight. This is when the ship hits the Earth's atmosphere after being in space for days and months. The friction creates temperatures hotter than a volcano. You can actually see the heat glow on camera. The flaps, the big metal fins on Starship, move consistently to keep it stable as it dives back on Earth. And despite all the fire and plasma surrounding it, Starship holds steadily. There's no breakup, no explosion, just pure engineering behind it. Then came the final moment everyone was waiting for, the landing burn. This moment causes the rocket's engine fire to slow down so it touches down safely. You can almost feel the tension as the engines start. The glow from the fire lit up the entire environment, and everyone watching this land was under great pressure. Then, the words everyone wanted to hear finally came through. The Starship had landed. Even though this time, the plan wasn't to recover the ship on solid ground, it landed safely in the Indian Ocean instead. The fact that the Starship survived this fiery re-entry and came down intact was impressive. Just a year back, flights like these failed miserably, and some even ended in explosions. So, now to see a rocket go all the way to orbit and come back while landing safely is definitely a huge achievement. It's a huge leap for SpaceX and space travel in general. So, why does this project hold so much importance, and what could it mean for the future? What we just witnessed might look like just any other rocket launch, but in reality, it's actually one of the biggest steps forward in space tech in decades. The big deal about this project specifically is its reusability. For the first time, both main parts of the rocket, the booster and the ship, completed their missions and landed back safely. This is key because reusing rockets could make space travel easier than ever while also making it cheaper. Currently, there are rockets that go to space and are thrown away after just one use, which costs a ton of money. If SpaceX can catch and reuse these rockets over and over again, it can easily cut the cost of getting to space by more than 90%, which is a lot. And this also means there would be more space-related missions, more satellites, and maybe even regular trips to the Moon or Mars. Speaking of the Moon and Mars, this flight is a massive step towards those goals. NASA's Artemis program is planning on sending astronauts back to the Moon soon, and they're looking for a Starship as a vehicle to make this happen. The success of this flight might as well make that possible for NASA. It's not just about reaching orbit anymore, but exploring space. Another important part of this flight was deploying Starlink simulators. These are called the test satellites. Starship can carry many satellites at once. They can carry more than any other rocket. This means it can help SpaceX's Starlink network go much faster and cheaper. It also aims to provide fast internet worldwide. So, yeah, Successful payload deployment here shows Starship could revolutionize satellite internet by launching many satellites all at once. While this might sound like a small detail, it's actually huge. Restarting engines in space is a big challenge because of zero gravity and the vacuum environment. But it's important if you want to change orbits, visit other planets, and come back to Earth safely. The fact that Starship successfully relit its engines 3 times in a row easily proves that it's more than ready for complex space missions. Let's take a quick step back and remember how far SpaceX came with this rocket. When they first started testing Starship prototypes, yep, you guessed it right, things often went wrong. Many early flights ended in huge explosions and failed landings. There was a lot of trial and error, but SpaceX's approach has been to learn from every failure quickly, make changes, and try again. And that's exactly what they've done. Now, after many tests and improvements, they're hitting nearly every major milestone in a single flight. This mission showed that engines are indeed reliable, and we might be witnessing the biggest development in history yet. Space. And yes, that's more than just progress. It's a whole revolution in rocket engineering. Looking ahead, the next major goal for SpaceX is even more exciting. They plan to start catching the returning booster using huge arms on the launch tower, a system they nicknamed Mechazilla. This will be one of the most impressive engineering achievements. After that, SpaceX will be focusing on reusing the Starship itself, flying it multiple times, and preparing to carry astronauts to outer space. So, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to stay tuned for more.